Hello and welcome to Jazz Across the Pond. Jazz interviews reimagined. A brand new and a very exciting bringing together of two great nations. It's jazz talking like we've never seen or heard it before. We welcome the following jazz members from all different groups from around the world, including, just to mention a few, the Jazz Explorer, the Sound Smooth Jazz from South America, the New Jazz Community, the Crew Radio, who are doing a brilliant job, then the Jazz Lovers Corner from Georgia, along with the Smooth Jazz Train out of Richmond, Virginia. Smooth Jazz and more, hey, they're all there. Some great, we welcome everyone in that. So without further ado, let's meet the two of us. So it's a warm welcome to Jazz Across the Pond from myself, Roger Lee, aka the Jazz Cat.
And I'm Kevin Goolsby, and they call me Mr. G.
Ah, Mr. Goolsby, the Butch Cassidy of my Sundance Kid.
Oh my goodness, Roger, really? Come on now. It's good to be on air with you, buddy.
And yourself. It's absolutely fabulous. We're going to talk, we're going to let everybody know about this concept. We're very excited about it. It's been in the bag for about 6 months now, and we've been tweaking it, all the rest of it. And we're going to let now all the listeners know and the viewers know of some of the great jazz artists that are queued up. They're literally in the corridor outside here, waiting, knocking on the door to come in and have a chat with us. They're very excited because this is a unique, and I really do mean that, a unique idea of bringing the two. It's never been done before, so we're very excited, aren't we, Kevin?
And it's a rather impressive list, too, of people that we've lined up.
Absolutely. Before we start, though, going through the list, I just feel it would be right just to mention on Sunday, we had news that one of our favorite guitarists, Mr. Chris Andring, lives in Los Angeles, former Brit like myself, was taken to hospital and he suffered a heart attack, and that the word is for all his fans, listeners out there, he's doing fine. And I think it's woken him up and he's gone, wow, I've got to look after myself. So Chris, get better, a former interview person, a great guitarist, and we love him dearly. Also from the UK, it's rest in peace, very sad news this week. We heard of Chris Barber, born in 1930, died last week. He was a leading jazz member along with Kenny Ball in Europe and the UK. So for him and his fans and friends, rest in peace, we'll miss you.
Yeah, and on our side of the pond, we've got a couple of people that are kind of convalescing at the moment as well. A little shout out to Pete Gitlin, great guitar player. Also Bill Ortiz, former trumpeter for Santana, and John Carey, a great guitarist. All a little under the weather. They're in our thoughts as well.
Excellent. Well said. Okay. And yeah, our thoughts are with these guys and all their family and fans. So what is it all about then? So once a week, Kevin and myself will be interviewing some of the biggest names on the jazz circuit. And with COVID, they're unable to tour at the moment. And I know they're very keen. Some of them have got new albums coming out and they're knocking on the door going, listen, guys, we've heard about this Jazz Across the Pond. We want to be a part of it. So let's go through some of the names to tantalize our viewers and listeners so they know exactly what to expect. Coming up in the next few weeks, we're not going to give you dates. We're going to keep you hinged on that one there. We've got the wonderful Lindsay Webster along with Keith Slattery. That's a good one. We're looking forward to that, aren't we, Kevin?
That's exceptional. Of course, we know Lindsay Webster was Billboard's 2016 and 2017 Smooth Jazz Artist of the Year. And Keith has got a project coming out this summer that we're excited about. So it should be a good interview.
I'm looking forward. That'll be a really, really good one. Yeah, excellent. We've done all the homework. Then, of course, mixed in there somewhere, we got the wonderful Jimmy Haslip.
That's incredible. That's probably a mind blower for me. Founding member of, the Yellow Jackets. He's done some great collaborative work. He literally helped Jeff Lorber resurrect the Jeff Lorber Fusion. So that'll be a great interview as well.
Bringing in from Los Angeles, so that will be a bit of a late night for me, I feel, on that one. But I'm committed and dedicated.
I'm right in the middle, so I don't have to worry about that. That's the nice thing about being on the East Coast.
I think this is the one where, when we do this one, I think Jimmy will probably have an orange juice, you'll have a cup of coffee, and I'll have a glass of wine, just to indicate our different time zones.
But we'll have to do a check of those drinks for
I
sure.
think so too. Then, of course, the other names we got the return back to ourselves with Jazz Moods, the wonderful Kelly Manucci from New York, originally, of course, special effects and still with special effects. And from
Yeah.
London, we're doing Ollie Silk. We really are going to be testing technology. We're going to be going Richmond, Virginia, New York, North Devon, and London. The four of us and they are so up for this interview.
Well, you know, the two of them have been performing together for a long time. I saw both Manucci and Silk here in Richmond. It had to have been like 2013. So it's going to be lively when you have those two together. They're great on stage. I'm certain they're going to make for a great interview.
Oh, that is, well, I'm already not winding them up. I'm already having a bit of banter with the two of them already. And I've lit a fuse and the two of them are going with it. They're loving it.
Right.
And we've invited Bob Baldwin. He's got a brand new project coming out. Really excited about that one there. And then the one which I'm looking forward to all of them. But Reza Khan. Now, Reza Khan, if our viewers have never heard of Reza Khan, slap on the wrist because he's got 3 fabulous albums. He's got a brand new album. And the word is, we are going to have the first few tracks of those being going to be played in the UK and Europe. So his last album, a couple of years ago, The Next Train Home. If you're a Pat Metheny fan, a lot of influence there. And there's a feel of a Bangladesh sort of music along with American influences. That is going to be a great one.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal guitar player. And every single project is just continues to raise the bar. He's a good guitarist, no doubt.
Oh, yeah. Then another great name, Jason Miles. Now, Jason Miles came out with an album last year called Black Magic. And I'll tell you what, if any of our viewers are going, Jason, I've never heard of him. Well, I tell you what, you're in for a shock because the amount of times that his name is mentioned is credited. I mean, he's like the godfather of music. Shall I go that far?
He's got an incredible list. And that last project of his is phenomenal. That's a great project. That's a wonderful one from start to finish.
I get the impression that his black book of fellow colleagues and musicians, it must be bulging. And when he's into the studio, I mean, they must just ring up and go, can we be with you? It's a fabulous one. And then, of course, hey, Jeanette Harris.
What can we say? She's got it. She has got it all. She's a great performer. She's got great charisma. She really does a good job of promoting herself. So I imagine we'll get a couple of mentions before she's on the air as well.
I would have thought so too. And then we're very another little bit of a coup for us here. Roger Smith of Tower of Power, and has got some great solo work. And a lot of people may not realize he's actually got his own winery in California as well. So I think I may be talking wine to him while you're talking music. We'll do something like that.
Well, he just became a friend of mine on Facebook, so I'm looking forward to that interview as well.
Be a great one. Greg Caracas, he was in the schedule to join us. There was something happened. We don't want to go into it, but he said, please get me back into the slot. Great pianist, and so I'm very excited. Now, Marilyn Scott, this is another great one. She was meant to be with us early in our first stage of Jazz Across the Pond. Then she's let us know. She said, I've got a brand new album coming out. It will be coming out round about summertime. So she doesn't know because of COVID. A lot of these record labels are postponing things, but she wants to join us once they launch the brand new album, and she has got an amazing voice. So then we move on. Now, here's one. Here's for the English fans. Oh, Kevin's on the move. We got Beverly Byrne. Now, Beverly Byrne is all the way from Yorkshire in the UK, and she has got an album out. There's already, if you tap into Beverly Byrne, you tap into it, and there's a clip, and they're showing little clips of this album. But again, her record company have held it back until people can go into the shops and the lockdowns lifted and to buy or download these albums. She is a lovely British singer and she was actually, Jason Miles is actually made a lovely little message going, boy, she's a good singer. Watch out. Right. So that's going to be a really interesting one. I'm just hoping that she hasn't got such a Yorkshire accent and that you may struggle with her accent, Kevin.
Well, you'll be there to interpret for me if that's the case. But Roger, I will say that, we're talking about how the artists are feeling the impacts of COVID. The fans are exactly the same way. The fans are dying, not literally, but they're dying to see their favorite artist. And with the lockdowns, this is an opportunity not only for them to see them and hear them, but to get that little jazz fix that they've been dying for. So
Absolutely. Yeah. If you're running on half energy of enthusiasm, we're going to top you up to full tank because we've got some amazing interviews. Moving on from that, Cindy Bradley, over to you.
Cindy Bradley, what can you say? A phenomenal trumpet player. She broke big on the scene back in 2011 with her mass transit project. She's been killing it in the United States. She's been on the charts continuously since 2011. Going to be a great interview with Cindy as well.
Absolutely. Now, we've got Cindy Bradley. Now, we've also got, I'm also thinking of Cindy Bradley because a couple of months ago, I interviewed the lovely Paula Atherton, and I know that they do a lot of work together on stage when you're able to. I'm actually wondering, should we actually go for the two of them?
I think that would be wonderful to get both of them in at the same time if we could.
Well, I know Paula, I interviewed her on Jazz Moves, which we'll talk about in a moment. And when she's heard about this new project, she went, Roger, do you remember me? Is there any chance, could I be on it? And so I think the two of them together, what an absolute wonderful interview that will be.
Well, I mean, we might as well admit it. I mean, the bottom line is they're dying to get on the air with the two of us. Simple as that, right?
Absolutely. Ken Navarro's following up with his wonderful Into the Light. He's got a brand new album coming out around about July, August, and already he's reached out to the two of us and asked us any chance can he come and join us, and he'd like to have some of his tracks played. So if you're a Ken Navarro fan, and who wouldn't be, that's going to be a good one.
Yeah, he's just up the road from us here in Richmond. He's up in the Metro DC area, wildly popular in that area and across the country, and obviously internationally as well. So I'm looking forward to having Ken in as well.
Now, here's a couple of big names for yourself. We've had the wonderful David Benoit, a former featured artist. I've interviewed him. He's a wonderful, what a talented man, composer, Grammy nominated. Him together with Mark Winkler, they've actually done an album and it's called Old Friends. And I know it's very emotional when you've listened to it, Kevin.
Yes.
You sat there and it's cover songs, the two of them together. And we are literally in negotiations with them, and that try because they're both such busy men. We're trying to tie their diaries up. That is going to be literally David Benoit, Mark Winkler, the two of them on Jazz Across the Pond. That is going to be a major coup for us.
Yeah, and the Old Friends project, and I can't emphasize it enough. It really is an emotional trip. They've done projects in the past, and they are old friends, and it really comes across. The music of Benoit, the vocals of Winkler. I mean, you can't beat it.
No. And the selection of songs, how they, I think one of my first questions, I'm preempting them. One of my first questions is how, with such a vast array of fabulous tunes, how do they just choose those 12 tracks? I mean, it's like they've done a wonderful cover of Henry Mancini's Two for the Road. And I just sat there and it blew me away. So I think that's going to be one of my first questions is how do they select the tunes and narrow it down to those?
Well, you know, and I think they've got, talk about old friends, they've got a producer they've worked with so much in the past. I think it's very intuitive for her to be able to just say, this is the right mix for you guys. The project is brilliant. It truly is.
Okay, and very, very quickly, as a nice little teaser, just before we talk about ourselves and that, Rini Toledo, a former Cuban, born in Cuba, now lives in Las Vegas, very good friend. I know he's, because of his connection with Ed Kaye, who's now being interviewed. You can still find that one on YouTube. We've also got Alan Sams, a former interview, and Pat Close. That would be a good one to try to get the two of them together. Chris Tedesco, now a trumpet player. Chris Tedesco he actually went to school with Ed Kaye, and apparently the two of them, because of our show, they've actually started talking to each other again. And that one lives in Los Angeles, one lives in Miami, and they've actually come to us now, gone, can we both come on and that? So I think that could be a nice one.
It's always nice when people can rekindle a relationship. We've also got Daryl Williams and Dee Lucas. Daryl Williams is a phenomenal bass player. As a matter of fact, I'm playing a track of his tonight that I've been waiting a year to play. And then Dee Lucas is a great saxophone player. Both of those gents would do a great job as well. So I'm looking forward to wrapping that up and getting them in as well.
Now, before we talk about wrapping this up, before we do wrap up this little bit of a teaser, you're just talking about your show tonight. Elaborate on that so the viewers know exactly what you're talking about.
Well, we're in our 10th year about presenting jazz, not only contemporary jazz, but all the way back to the classics. You could hear Mingus or you could hear Sidney Bradley. I mean, it's an eclectic blend, but we give a homage to the giants of our genre. and then the new and up and coming. We've been doing it for 10 years. We've developed quite a few friends around the world, and I'm excited to be able to take it to another level.
Absolutely. Well, I started radio on the cruise ships out of New York and I started interviewing all the cabaret artists, some big name artists, and they used to, so when you were in the cabin getting ready to go and meet the captain, whatever, you'd tune in, there would be Roger Lee, and I'd be on the airwaves on the ship on the days at sea and that. So I started interviewing back in the 80s and then transitioned all the way through now to a thing called Jazz Moods. Now, Jazz Moods, that's where you and me first met. We were trying to work it. It's about a year ago. Am I correct with that?
Yeah, yeah. It was. We both have been listening to each other's programs on and off. I think we both probably were kind of stealing a few artists as well. You've introduced new artists to me. You've picked up artists that I've been presenting. I think it's going to be a great collaboration. I think our histories together and what we're going to do in the future is going to be very exciting.
Exactly, and I think we've all proved that it's not a very big world as we talk about. What did Stephen Wright once said? It's a small world, but I'd hate to paint it. And the fact that you're in the United States, I'm in the UK, and there's a thing called the Atlantic. Atlantic, we call it a pond, and that is literally, we are bringing it all together, and that with a unique concept.
Yeah, I thought when we decided to call it Jazz Across the Pond, it was a great idea because obviously the Atlantic is big, but the jazz world is indeed small. But you know, Roger, there is a difference between the view from your side of the Atlantic and the view from mine. Yes. On my side of the pond, I have to look at you.
And your problem?
Then you've got me, right? That's not much improvement. Now, I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great time. I hope everybody joins us. It's going to be weekly. The program's going to be on YouTube. And then everybody will have an opportunity to cut and paste it to their Facebook pages. So don't miss any of the programs.
No, and if you're away on holiday, not that people are going on holiday at the moment, because it's been on YouTube, you can always go back and catch up and have a look at them again. You know, we have got some, as we've already gone through, some amazing names there, and that is just the tip of the iceberg. That is just literally, we've got other people which we're not allowed to say, but we're not saying at the moment because we haven't had confirmation from these artists. But literally, we've had some great inquiries from artists going, listen, we've heard about this thing. This is the first time, we must emphasize, nobody has ever done this before. Jazz Across the Pond, an interview in the United Kingdom and the States, and getting two of us together and that with our knowledge, our experience, and bringing the best out of jazz. And you can contact us through Facebook. If you suddenly go, listen, can you mention my name or whatever, and that, just let us know prior to the interview, and we'll see what we can do.
Sounds good to me. I'm going to be watching. No, wait, I'm going to be there.
That is it. Listen, tune in every single week. It's Jazz Across the Pond. It's new, it's brand new, it's unique, it's refreshing. So from myself, I'm going to say it's good night from the Jazz Cat, Roger Lee. Kevin, say good night.
Well, I guess I'll say good night, Kevin.
Okay, and it's good night from him.
You walk like jazz. You talk just like jazz. In a whisper kind of gruff, like a hipster hanging tough, like jazz.
You smile like jazz. Your style is pure jazz. 52nd Street, in fact, hopping clubs with any cat who likes jazz.
You're the last of the breed, and you know it. You show it every time you play. Live your life on the stage, major nights, minor days.
Too late to change your wicked ways.
Wicked ways. Ah, you love like jazz.
Like jazz.
Close enough for sweet jazz. Yes, you love 'em on the run.
Kinda improvised and young like jazz.
Like jazz. street and you know it. You show it every time you play. Send your song to the moon, have your way with it too. Late at night in a smoky room. Smoky room. You live like jazz.
Like jazz.
You give all you got with such class. So I'll tip my hat and smile.
Ooh, crazy man, wild.
Like jazz. Just like jazz. Crazy jazz. Mark Murphy's singing.